Good evening, everyone out there in Shochu'sday land. Stephen Lyman, your host for this week, with our special guest, our most frequent guest, Maya
Yay.
Aley, who is joining us from Kagoshima, and we'll probably get some good dirt about the shochu scene down there during this episode. Christopher is currently in the U.S. He will be joining a little bit later, and will let us know how things are going there. But in the meantime, Maya, how are you?
Good morning. Things are good.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah.
Happy Shochu'sday. Happy 100th episode.
That's
to
right.
You and Christopher, who's not here.
Thank you. Yeah, 100 of these. It's a little crazy. I think technically it's been 101 weeks because last year, one time when both of us were in the States, we completely missed it.
So disappointed.
Yeah.
I even wake up early for you, and then I was like, "Where are you guys?"
Yeah.
Set my alarm and everything.
I guess you get what you pay for. But yeah, no, 100 episodes. It's kind of crazy to think, when we started this kind of on a whim during lockdown at the beginning of the pandemic, and here we are 2 years later, still in a pandemic. but
getting
life
worse
is
here. Yeah.
Is it? You having another wave down in Kagoshima?
Record numbers of people yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I guess I should check the Fukuoka case numbers to see how we're doing. We sort of leveled out. We had a big spike, and then now it's kind of flattened, but it's still flattened higher than it's been.
Your neighbor Saga also had a record number yesterday. So.
Did they? So it seems like something's going around.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's okay though, and vaccinated, and that sort of thing. I guess no more going out for me for a while.
But be careful.
Yeah. I did have quite a nice homemade dinner last night. I tried French food for the first time in a while, and it came out really well.
You tried cooking French food for the first time?
Yeah.
In a while?
In a while, yeah. And it's the first time it tasted like what I think it should taste like in a French restaurant. So I felt like I did it right.
When in doubt, use more butter.
There was no butter in the recipe, actually.
What?
It was essentially roasted pork, but after you sear it to get it all browned, then you basically only with salt and pepper and olive oil, you bury it with onions onions is what's called for the recipe, in milk. And you simmer it in milk for 3 hours.
Sounds like a lot of work.
When the milk was mostly evaporated, then you take out the meat, you put it in the oven for 10 minutes to brown it, put it back, serve it with the onions, and then you top all of it with the gravy from the milk gravy that's left over in the pot. And I have to say, it was really, really good.
I'd hope so after 3-4 hours.
But I was kind of amazed though, because the only seasonings were olive oil, salt, pepper, and milk.
Well,
and I guess the onions, right? Yeah.
And
true.
Maillard reactions.
Right. No, it was pleasantly surprised, I guess I should say. I saw the recipe, I was like, that sounds weird. I think I want to try to make that. I made it in the donabe, so I think it was a little bit hot for what it was supposed to do. So I had to keep turning off the fire and let the
I wonder what flavor profiles are left in the donabe the next time you make a nabe.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Caked in milk.
Right.
I have my glass here on your topic.
Do we have any? Sorry, I can't see my entire screen. But yeah, 100th episode, and apparently one person watching right now. So thank you for watching, whoever you might be. Our viewership has kind of dwindled. I'm not sure what's going on. Our episodes
I
too
don't know,
long.
tell you. I wake up every week, mostly.
Yeah, I guess you're not watching, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Maya.
It would have been 2.
Now it's 2. So yeah. Anyway, we're here with Maya, and how many times have you been on the show now?
Don't know.
4 or 5 times, probably, right?
At least.
You're almost like the Tokidoki co-host at this point.
No. Whenever you need me, you know where to find me.
That's right.
Get up 10 minutes extra early. Brush your hair.
Yeah. So here we are. It's episode number 100 of
what's in your glass? You didn't say what's in your glass.
Oh, iced coffee. Iced coffee.
Oh.
Oh, that's what my glass. I'm sorry.
I brought a goblet for your 100th episode.
Oh wow!
Thought I'd be fancy with
That's
the
very fancy.
Satsumayaki goblet with
This
the
is a
Oshima Tsumugi pattern on it.
very nice.
You did that. So it's got tea in it.
This is a. I guess it's.
I
made
have
in
that
Japan.
glass. It's got a little thumb thing in it, right?
It does. My thumb's in the thumb. It's got a dimple for your thumb for when it gets wet.
I love that glass.
Yeah. So I use it for my iced coffee in the summertime. But this is actually a gift from Katie Yen. It was a housewarming gift from Katie Yen.
Oh.
When I had a housewarming party when I moved into my New York City apartment in 2013. So this glass has survived. Yeah, I did. 2 of them. They're both still alive, which with me in glassware, that's a pretty good run.
A pair of glasswares.
A pair of glasses to still be around a decade later is pretty good.
I have exactly one of that glass in my cabinet, which I use occasionally. But today, I've gone with my Oshima Tsumugi Satsumayaki goblet to cheers your 100th episode.
Well, thank you. Yeah, actually, I now remember just at the same welcome party, I received a muddler that was actually made of, I don't understand why you would do this, but it was essentially made of charcoal. And I think the idea is that it'll almost act as charcoal filtration, like to take some off flavors out of your water or whatever. I don't know exactly the purpose of this thing. And the reason I don't know the purpose is because, well, it was like a stir. It was like a stir stick.
How do you know it wasn't just a stick?
It had like a little decorative handle at the top. So you held it on one end and you stirred it in your glass, right? I dropped it before I used it and the charcoal shattered on my countertop.
Well,
so I never actually got to use the thing. That just shows
it got rid of the odors in your countertop or something.
Yeah,
while it was there.
It might have. It did leave a little charcoal stain for a little while. Anyway, enough about that scintillating live stream, obviously. Yeah. So I guess the. Oh wait, we got comments. John makes a great point. More people are able to go out now or aren't work from home, so we get fewer viewers. I guess that makes sense. I guess it's we are in our
daylight savings time.
Right, but aren't we in our? I think it's 9 o'clock in the States right now, which is later. It used to be 8 o'clock East Coast. We do also have Colby, who says that must be me watching. He's drinking Chuko Ryukyu Kusu Awamori tonight.
Ooh, fancy.
Thank you for the congrats on 100. Chuko, pretty fabulous distillery. And the Kusu Awamori is the only thing available in the States from them right now. And this is also Kusu from Chuko, but in a 1.0-liter ceramic made at the distillery. And you can see the flame pattern because they run flame on one side of the.
That would make a great vase base flower container.
It's really big and heavy though, so you'd need to have like a very large flower coming out the top, like sunflowers. This is quite big. I mean,
is it 1.8 liters?
Yeah, people don't know how big my head is, but basically it's bigger than my head.
Stephen has a big head. I'll just attest.
So this is it next to the 1.8-liter glass bottle, right? So it's the same fill size. And my arms are getting tighter now.
Heft.
Yeah, it is. And this is actually made at the Chuko distillery. They're the only distillery that we're aware of that has a pottery studio adjacent to the aging warehouse.
I think you've mentioned them on this.
We have. So I think the Kusu that's come in so far from them to the U.S., which Colby's drinking, is 3-year old. This is a 10-year, and when it's in the ceramic, it continues to age. And I bought this a year ago.
Yes. So,
it was bottled in January of 2021, so this is now 11 years old. They hopefully put the fill date on the back label so that you know. Yep. So yeah, Chuko's good stuff.
There was another comment about what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Bizen pottery. And Bizen, if I'm not mistaken, is a northern Kyushu style. Is that right? Where is Bizen? Is it part of like
Bizen was in Yamaguchi? No.
You might be right.
No.
So.
Bizen. Oh no, Bizen is Saga area, I think.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I think it's an overall term for the Saga area, the Arita and the the
Okayama.
Iwari.
Okayama.
Okayama. Oh,
Okayama
I lied.
Prefecture.
Don't quote
Sorry.
me.
A quick Google. Okayama. Yeah. I'm only familiar really with Kyushu pottery, so I guess that's why I wasn't sure where Bizun was. Over in Saga, you've got Karatsu, Yaki, Arite
There's
Yaki.
a big word. There's another overarching word for what they call it there instead of the towns, and I forget. I thought it was Bizen.
Yeah, with that Zen
Shizen
sound
or
at the
something.
end, it's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Hizen
northern,
something.
like in northern Kyushu, you got a number of those pottery traditions that have that Zen in the name. So we have a guest. Look at that.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you
Hello.
for
Better
your
late than never.
patience.
How are you?
I'm good.
What's in your glass,
I'm good.
Christopher?
What's that?
What's
oh,
in your
I,
glass?
in my glass, I'm drinking like nice.
Nice
Nice club soda.
club soda.
Oh, club soda. Sorry, I stand
Yeah.
corrected.
Yeah.
Sugar free.
Yeah. And you're as I understand, you're in a Tokyo business hotel in New York City. Is that right?
No, in DC, but yeah, close.
Oh, in DC. Okay.
It is
Ooh.
absolutely Tokyo sized. It's remarkable.
Right at home.
It was funny too because I checked in and they said, and apparently, and I think I had done this while I was on the train, so I booked a hotel. There were options, and I booked a bunk room, and I got here. And they said, all the rooms are the same size, and we can upgrade you to a standard bed, which is wider. It's like a twin and a half, basically, smaller than a queen. But all the rooms are the same size, and that should have been a red flag, because I have two big ass bags, and I cannot open them both in this room, because I did allow them to upgrade me, but I should have just stuck with the bunk bed because I'm just one person, and a twin bed would have been fine with another twin above it, and I would have been able to open both of my bags at the same time, and I screwed that up. So DC, they do it pint sized like we're used to, that was a revelation for me. But otherwise, DC is fantastic, and the room is clean. It works. The freaking thermostat pumps in the cold air if you ask it to, and I don't recommend it.
That reminds me of my very first night in Tokyo, my first trip to Japan, booking the Prince Shinjuku Hotel, which is a pretty nice hotel and great location.
Sure.
And I couldn't believe how small the room was. In what was supposedly like not just your standard business hotel, but like a little step up from there.
Prince is that's a nice joint.
Yeah,
It's a good chain.
Yeah, I guess I got the small room though. It was quite tiny. My suitcase, I had to put it on the bed to open it, which, thinking back,
I've got
that's
one on the
gross.
floor, one on the bed. Basically, that's the only way to do them both.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever.
the sacrifices you make for Shochu and Awamori.
That's right, and it was not a cheap sacrifice. I thought I was getting that was the best deal I could find that still had decent ratings, like something above 8.0 on hotels.com. Stuff here is expensive, man. Right now, it's not cool.
But that's
And,
okay,
and oh my lord, pollen.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was going to be better here, but no.
It's also more expensive because the yen means nothing now, apparently.
Yeah, and I have been using my American-based debit card because of that. I'm not getting any points or anything on any of these endeavors, just because it's not worth it to have it transferred. The currency exchange rate is bonkers right now.
It is.
Great for
Richard
people
just
in
said
the
it's
US.
128.
Yeah, great for people in the US. 20-year low or 20-year high, depending on which way you're looking at it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So John Go says you need to check out the green zone in DC. I don't know what that means. Is that the safe zone around the Capitol where like there's lots of security, or is it something else?
If it's
probably a red
I'll
zone.
find it. I've been very lucky here with bartenders recommending other bars. So, John, if you are channeling that type of energy, then I'm totally here for it.
Yeah, I had the same experience when I was in DC last year. You'd be in one bar and they'd be like, "Oh, have you been to such and such?" And they'll send you down the street, even though you were drinking in their bar. they're also like, yeah, you should go visit my friend's bar as well, and it's a nice little.
Yeah, I told you a couple
community.
weekends ago, one bar sent me as a mule with 2 frozen cocktails to another bar that they had a crush on, and I was all of a sudden inserted into the middle of this flirtatious. Oh my God, I love them. Oh yeah, they love you too. I'm here to spread the love, and was in tight with both sides after that. So yeah, it's fun.
Good work.
Excellent. Well
I
played.
like Washington D.C. more every time I visit.
Huh, very nice. You must be staying out of the political side of it then. You stay on the hospitality side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair comment. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I spent a lot of time in DC growing up because my grandfather worked for the Department of Labor. So summers and Christmases were always in the DC area. So definitely have a fondness for that city. It's changed so much, and the food and beverage scene is much, much better than it used to be. When I was living there 25 years ago, it was basically everybody left at 6 p.m. Everybody flees the city, goes back to the suburbs.
Sure.
Completely changed now. It's a thriving scene. So that's cool that you're able to spend some time there. And you're currently in the States to do, I guess, what, media, PR, and sales for Honkaku Spirits?
Exactly.
Sorry.
It's a lot of education, a lot of tastings, a lot of media this time, which has been a nice change of pace, and it's been highly productive. I'm basically up and at 'em from about I would say 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. every day, doing something, meeting somebody, and it's been really, really good. It's been nonstop, and there has been an amazing response to everything Koji Spirits, which is, it just bodes so well for the future. It's really fun to see. You got to dig for it sometimes. You really have to remind people. You have to set the parameters of what the tasting is and say, listen, it's this, it's not that. But if you explain it right, then you can really have some really positive experiences. I was just on the Delaware-Maryland state, the border between those on Saturday last week. Did a tasting at a really, really great account called State Line Liquors. Massive place. They do everything well. From craft beer, they've got a back bar of draft, where you can go back and fill your growler, and they do rosés, everything red, everything white, spirits like you wouldn't believe. It's a cavernous place, and did a tasting there, and they're like, we're gonna charge for a shochu tasting. I was like, I'm gonna have like 4 people at this thing. They sold it out. They sold all 30 seats very quickly.
Oh, wow.
They just had a ton of interest. They do very, very good outreach. So that's another one of their many talents. They have a great newsletter program. They've got amazingly activated and attentive customers. And they just reached out and said, hey, we're doing something weird. Should be fun. You'll learn something new. And they filled it out really quick. So they had 30 paying customers. I don't think any of whom had ever tasted Japanese shochu before, and it was great. It was really great.
That's wild. That's very cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Get all the real comments about what is this.
And there was an assortment of folks who knew their spirits in there too, and they asked some great questions, made some great comments. One gentleman even was about to start his own distillery here in America, and he was fascinated by koji fermentation. So should be
Christopher in his element.
Come from him. Yeah. Oh, pig and poop. Yeah, 100% P and P. Yeah.
Well, we had gotten congratulations earlier, but congratulations to you as well, Christopher. Episode number 100. Finally here.
Holy crikey.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Congratulations,
it's been
everyone.
a journey.
Yeah.
And,
you too, Stephen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maya, for being our most frequent
cheerleader in the
attendee
comments
and
sometimes.
Cheerleader. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
President
for
of the
everybody
fan
who's
club.
watching right now, many, many thanks. Big hug. And kanpai to everybody out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
With your club soda. Nice.
Yeah, I guess what I'll actually
Nice.
I'm going to run this banner, but it's actually not quite out yet. So we will have a teaser episode releasing tomorrow morning in the US. And it's because we've upped production value on this next 3-part series, and it's taken a little bit more time to finish the edit and all that. But we will have a new episode next week that hopefully people will find very interesting. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave that as a teaser for the teaser. And then the teaser will give you a little more information, and then the actual first episode of the 3-part series will come out next week. So, but really, really fun project. I had to do something creative while Christopher was out of town because he hasn't been able to record while he's on the road. So
I'm not even able to check my email. So
yeah,
it's been kind of nuts. So thank you for doing that, because it.
Oh yeah, no worries. It was a lot of fun.
Guilty about being unavailable.
Not at all. It's actually it's been fun because I've got a creative streak at times, and I hadn't been able to write in a way that felt creative in a long time. So Rich Pav, our engineer, who's also has a phenomenal podcast called Uncanny Robot, which if you haven't listened, you're in for a treat because it is weird. He actually does the narration for the new 3-part series. So you'll hear his voice much more than mine. So yeah, it's going to be fun. But telling a cool story, I think. And I thought it was going to be a 1-part episode, and then I wrote and I test recorded the first part, and it was 45 minutes. I said, well, I should probably make this a 3-parter because I'm only a third way through the story. It's essentially turned into an audiobook, I guess.
Very cool.
Well, Steven's next project, next time Christopher takes a trip.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. I'm setting a standard here that might be hard to replicate. But hopefully, or people are going to say that was dumb. then I don't have to do it again.
Doubt that.
But yeah. Anyway, that was really, really fun. So why don't we jump into the main event? Just announced the winners of the 2022 South Kyushu Sake and Shochu Awards, which has a different name in Japanese, as you can imagine. Maya, what is it?
It's the Kumamoto Kokuzei-kyoku Nihonshu. I don't know the shochu part, but the sake part, but the Kampyokai. It's the Kumamoto Kokuzei-kyoku.
Sure.
Kumamoto Regional Tax Bureau, which Kagoshima and Miyazaki is also.
Miyazaki is in it as well.
Yeah. So they're all.
And it seems like any prefecture can submit because there were like winners from Oita and things like that, right?
Yeah, it depends. Fukuoka, there's Fukuoka and Kumamoto are the two, so it maybe depends what part they're in.
I see.
I don't think anyone can submit. I think you have to submit to the one that you are subjected to.
Oh,
the umbrella.
So your local tax office. Yeah. So we got. Okay, so Oita, Miyazaki, Kagoshima. Why?
Kumamoto.
Kumamoto as well. Yep. Yeah. Okay, I see. So it was 4 prefectures in competition, and there's lots of winners. I don't know how many are submitted, but
there's a breakdown. I think it's depending on the category. There's, if you look on the website, it does tell you how many were submitted, how many distilleries, and how many products total.
I see.
And then which of those were the top rated.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was on the English version of the website, which probably provides less information because I don't read Japanese like you do.
It's there. It's on the English one.
Okay.
It is. There's a table. Put it in the show comments later. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Here it is. Breweries and items. Okay. Oh, sorry, just a moment. So apparently the alcohol percent has to be 25%. That's interesting. So for sweet potato, there are 234 items, 54 winners. I guess I could share this table if people care.
I do.
Exciting.
Christopher hasn't eaten it.
Select winners. Where's
So the awards themselves were judged, I think, in March, and then the winners were announced a while back, and they had the award ceremony yesterday in Kumamoto.
Okay.
So a lot of the distillers were up in Kumamoto yesterday who are receiving awards getting their big
Gotcha.
certificate
Okay.
piece of paper.
Trying to make this bigger. They
I
really
always
need
love
to make
looking at
this
people's
bigger.
tabs. You just judge all your tabs.
Don't judge. Don't judge.
I'm going to close those other tabs.
No, you just have to separate this
now
one.
you're,
Pull
now,
this
you're just,
one
now
out.
you're just making them stand out more.
Right. Yeah, it's okay. They're all things I don't. I'm going to close that one. Okay.
The 9.
Yeah. All right.
What do we got?
That's we got 101 distilleries submitted 234 items for evaluation in sweet potato. 39 of those and 54 items won awards. So you can see rice, 27 distilleries, 53 items. Barley, 59 distilleries, 127 items. Kokuto and soba also included, and then there's actually a koshu category. 11 distilleries submitted 13 items.
Which is not a competitive category, so none of those. It's not that none of them won. It's not graded.
Oh, it's not graded. I see. Oh yeah, because there's no prize winner there.
Huh.
So 7.
It's not that none of them were none of them were good. It's just that's not awarded prizes.
It's not possible to win. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7 Kokuto won prizes, 6 buckwheat or other, 34 barley, 11 rice, 54 sweet potato. If we go to the other tab, we can see the list of winners. You can see lots of sweet potato shochu, 2 from Kumamoto, 1 from Oita, whole bunch from Miyazaki, Yanagita won for 2 different Senbon Zakura expressions, Yai Zakura from Furusawa won. You got some. Yep, go ahead.
So based on the rules of this competition, it's for the 2021 brewing year. So there's like a date range of when the product has to have been made, which is why the aged is not competitive.
Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's for that brewing year.
Usually the brewing year ends at the end of June. Is that right?
It depends on the ingredient, I think. So there's a
for real?
date range.
Sorry, I was just going by what I had remembered from the sake world.
Yeah, I think it depends.
So interesting. So there's just a couple of highlights for fans of Honkaku spirits. Tsurushi, which is in the Honkaku Reserve portfolio, was a winner. And for my own personal satisfaction, Yamato Zakura was also a winner. So where I make shochu. Yeah. So a little bit of my sweat won an award.
He was up in Kumamoto yesterday getting an award. So.
Nice, good for him. He must be happy about that. In the rice category, Hakutake Shiro, big brand. It's listed twice. That's interesting. So the Research Institute and the distillery submitted, and they both won. Amakusa.
Well, at least they're consistent.
Toyonaga Kura. So that's Toyonaga is available in the States. They also won. In barley, Ichiko, Ginza no Susume, lots of Ichiko products. I wonder if they submitted like different examples of Ichiko, but they just listed them all as Ichiko as the winner. Taime from Fuji Jozo.
Taime.
Yep. Yeah, they got 3. They won 3 awards. They're I believe the only 100% handmade barley shochu distillery in Oita Prefecture. So they make really interesting stuff, but it's pretty hard to find. Akakage. Yeah, and Koma, his vacuum distilled. Yeah. I'm surprised. I mean, Aokage is such a beautiful drink. I wonder if he just didn't submit it for competition. Yeah. Then Kokuto. You guys still hear me?
Yep.
Christopher's fan cut out. I thought that I had lost audio.
No, I needed to sneeze, so I muted myself.
Appreciated. So
yeah,
Jogo, which is, I think, one of the only shochus that I can consistently taste and blind tell you what it is. Won an award.
You did when I sent it to you blind.
You did? Yeah, I did. Okay. And I did that in the last year's, the 2021 Tokyo Whiskey and Spirits competition. It was in my flight, and I was like, oh, that's Jogo. Next. Yeah, I like that shochu a lot. That is available in the States. It is one of the worst labels, and I always complained about the label when it was in the States. It's got this really awful font. It's got this toucan on the label. It's silly.
It's a bit noisy.
It's quite noisy, and what did they do? I actually, when I met them, I said, I'm sorry, I love your shochu, but I recommend it. I'll redesign a label. They redesigned the label. It's worse.
Look what
Yeah,
you've done.
The new
what
one
you've done.
was interesting.
The new, yeah. I really want to help them. I would do that work for free to help them come up
Just
with
to
a better
help
label for
yourself,
that brand.
so you don't have to look at it anymore.
That's right, because I'll still order it. I still like it. I still drink it. I just don't want to see the label anymore. Sorry, I'll stop now.
Interesting about these awards. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can mention, but there's 2 rounds of judging, as in most. There's
Okay.
a preliminary and a final round of judging, and all of the judges are different for each round. They change out the entire rotation of judges.
Oh wow,
Okay.
that is
So
interesting.
because some of the distilleries are represented in the judging panel. So like Fuji Jozo Taimei.
Mhm.
I know he was in one or the other, but not both. So there's no one in both rounds of judging. So there's,
Yeah, it's
I think
tricky
they try to take
when
away
all
from
of the like half of the experts in the category are actually in the trade.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then how do you organize that? You're going to have people who are clearly aware of their own brands being submitted, on the lookout for them. How do you organize that? If it's a smaller competition, it's pretty easy to keep a flight away from a flight containing a specific brand away from the maker. But in a larger competition where you've got hundreds and hundreds of brands, it's a little bit trickier to figure out unless you've got like a really good AI or a really good program to sort it out for you. Especially when you're trying to keep everything, blind, it's tough. So
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure there are situations where people are tasting their own products for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. And probably for the larger companies, they probably have representatives in the first round and in the second round. Right?
Possibly.
The list
From the
of
same
judges
company,
are
but-
available in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
can check them out later
But-
and see
yeah.
which of the usual suspects are in there.
Sure. It's neither here nor there, but it's an interesting award system, and being run by the tax office also makes it unusual compared to what we're used to with these independent competitions like San Francisco or international. What is it? IWC? These sorts of competitions, but and some really good drinks made it through, and the award is just the award, right? It's not like gold, silver, bronze, or
No, it's
best
just
in
I think
class
it's
or
just
anything
based
like
on
that.
points. Above a certain point range is automatically an award. There's
Yeah,
also
and
a
I guess it's-
Toji award
Oh, nice.
for each of the categories. So this year, Toji Daihyo, the representative Toji, was Ibusuki Shuzo's Kurose
Oh.
Toji.
No shit.
So
Nice.
Okay.
he won the Toji award.
Cool. Yeah. In the buckwheat and other category, there were 3 soba shochu that won, all from big makers, Unkai and Kagura. And then there was Oimatsu in Oito won a Kastori Shochu award. So it was the only Kastori Shochu
Wow.
to
All
score, which is, yeah. I do
don't
love the
think
Kastori.
I don't think there are that many in this region because most of them are from Fukuoka.
They're really not.
That's
And
right.
the fact that Oimatsu, I've never had it, but Oimatsu is first and foremost a mugi maker, so that's interesting.
Right.
Not to say there isn't
Yeah.
good sake made in Oita, but it's it's not the first concern there.
Not as many. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Fukuoka and Saga is where most of the Kastori that I've had has come from. But I'm surprised there aren't more from Kumamoto, because you do have some sake brewers up in the Aso region, but maybe they just don't even bother distilling their lees, or maybe it's not very good. But no, it's interesting to kind of go through these awards and see who's winning, and there does seem to be a lot of major brands are winners, and I wonder if that reflects that what their judging criteria are. Is it really like trying to hit a representative profile for the style?
I think it's based on like aroma, taste, and balance. And I think if you're one of the major, you put a lot of research into what having a well balanced drink, so that appeals to most people.
That's a good point, right? Yeah. I've been impressed by the degree of attention to detail in some of those bigger distilleries that they really do like Ichiko's quality control is off the charts because everything's blended for them, right? They don't release this is made this way, right? Like almost like a single malt. Everything's a blend, and as a result, you want to have a consistent blend every time you bottle that product. And so they have a whole team of testers, taste testers, that check every single blend to make sure that it matches what the drink is supposed to taste like. And so Ichiko's not going to vary. It's going to taste the same way every time.
They know what they want, how to get it.
Yep. Yeah. And they won a bunch of awards. So
they're doing something right.
Pretty good at their blending. Yeah. So
it's also interesting to see who doesn't win awards at this. And I've heard, off the record from people who would know that some of that has to do with the sweet potato rot this year. Last year, there have been a couple makers that didn't get any prizes from this award, tax office award, as well as like the Kagoshima Prefecture Shochu Makers Awards that are just separate. And there's a couple usual suspects who haven't been making the list recently, and it's probably due to the effects of the sweet potato rot. So they haven't been able to get the quality to make their product. So that might be a concern, going on in the future as well.
Right. There's been a pretty bad blight over the last few seasons, and it just seems to be getting worse. I mean, with Yamato Zakura, the production season is normally 100 batches, and he made 60. So, 40% of his potential revenue gone in one season. And I imagine for a lot of the distilleries, they probably are contracted with certain farms or certain brokers. And if they're in those regions that have been hit hardest, then the quality of their potatoes just isn't going to be there, right?
Right, exactly. So that's what maybe, the unofficial thought that's going around is that's what's affecting some of the distilleries and why they're not getting their usual acclaimed.
Is the rot an actual? Is it a disease? Is it like an infection? Okay, and is that being exacerbated by too much rain?
Yeah, rain.
Too hot
it's
season?
In the soil, I think. It's a it's a rot. It's a rot. The rot of the roots, I think.
Okay.
So once it's in the field, they're like it gets everywhere.
Okay. They have to leave the field alone for a year or two, maybe.
Is there a way to treat it? Do you know?
They're researching it, and they're also trying to get more resistant, engineer a more resistant potato. It seems to affect some varieties more than others. So the Kogane Sengan, which is the most popular variety, is one of the most harshly affected by it. And it doesn't seem to affect some of the maybe other types. The Benin, I think. Or the original.
Yeah, maybe we're going to see a switch toward a different potato being used as the predominant one going forward. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'd been wondering what's the solution, and as somebody who hasn't studied agriculture, I don't really know. But
the Kogane Sengan has been around for like 40 years, and they haven't improved on it as the ideal starch potato. So, which is surprising given the amount of research into the field. So you'd think they'd have more genetically spliced things. But
they are certainly working on it.
Yeah, I guess this gives the incentive, right?
And a lot of people like Kirishima, the big, they put a lot of money into that kind of research. They have a lot of people involved in that. So,
sure, can imagine.
Thanks to all their sales that they have money to spend on the research.
Money to burn.
Helps everybody.
That's right.
Helps everybody.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on the awards or what's been going on in South Kyushu Shochu?
Well, it takes place in Kumamoto, so if people are in Kagoshima, depending on where they are, it's it's early, first thing in the morning, so they come into Kagoshima city the night before to stay overnight and take the Shinkansen up. So I met a bunch of the distillers the other night when they were in town coming to the bar, so I picked up some of the goss, the tea.
Nice. So, good work.
I wasn't even working. I just got called in. They're like, there's people here to come see you. Okay.
Huh.
We'll be there.
Nice.
Christopher, I saw Toshi-san from Saishin in Tokyo. He was in town.
Oh yeah.
And he
came down
talking about you. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyone's in Tokyo, go to Saishin.
Right.
Cool place.
Or his new place. Right.
Hanare, yeah, she was in town. The Tensho of Hanare came. So
Nice. I don't think I've been to either of those places. Guess I got more things to add to my Tokyo list.
You've been
to
to
Tokyo
Saishi.
forever.
Yeah, that keeps happening. Christopher takes me places, and I don't remember.
Sounds like a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll move on to newly opened. I think that's our last.
My newly opened is this.
Nice.
Nice.
I need to stop advertising this damn thing. No, it's made by Walgreens, or at least it's packaged by them.
Probably their store brand, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, I just got it on my way home.
How about you,
Need
Maya?
some hydration.
I have a couple of newly bought that's not opened. I haven't this batch of flamingo.
Oh, there it
The
is.
flamingo.
Nice.
It's still. I haven't opened it. I bought it just because someone will want it eventually. And I have and it's not a shochu. This is a Kagoshima rum.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Oh wow, I like that label.
Ako rum
Ako.
from Oyama Jinshi. It's a white rum.
Nice.
Right.
So 40%. 40%. So cool
Cool.
design.
Yeah, I like the packaging for sure,
Yeah.
and I like rum, so I'll have to try that.
What's you, Steven?
Speaking of rum, not exactly newly opened, but open for the first time in a while. Ichiban Bashi,
Yeah.
which is it wasn't in the award winners list, was it? Which is
Nope.
criminal. Maybe he didn't submit,
You might know.
but
You might not have.
for me, and I think for Christopher, the most lush, delicious Kokuto Shochu.
It's
on the planet.
Zen
It's my second favorite.
Yeah.
I like the
Tomita.
no. I like his Yamada Go.
Oh, okay. Yamato Go is
Yep.
good. Yeah. No,
Yeah, Yamato
you're
goes
not
like
wrong.
400 bottles a year. It's,
Yeah.
right.
I
It's
have
not-
to
it's not
give it
easy
to
to use.
Yamada Go.
Yeah.
I had,
I-
by
I-
the way,
I've had them
I
both.
Ichiban Bashi and milk cocktail the other day at
How was it?
SAO from our friend Yuya.
Mhm.
It wasn't bad. It was Kokuto and milk. But
Was it
I think
milk wadi, or was it actually a cocktail with other ingredients?
he said it was a cocktail, but it was milk wadi. I guess having one ingredient makes it a
Two ingredient cocktail. Still
Yeah,
a cocktail.
it's
Yeah.
a cocktail.
Right. Sure.
But it made me feel bad. Like I was like, this didn't need to be Ichiban Bashi there. Like it was kind of overpowering too much milk. I don't love milk, so maybe it depends on the
Right.
type of milk you use.
Yeah.
But could be
Maybe.
fun. Could be
Sure.
fun to play with
Well,
milk.
Well, I actually wonder if that when you said that as a cocktail, I almost wonder if you don't do Ichiban Bashi with milk and then like a dash of cinnamon on top or
Like
nutmeg.
eggnog.
Yeah, might work. I'll play around with it.
Turn it into a Kokuto nog.
Yeah, and you have to work with the ratios. I think the one I had, it was a
Yeah.
little bit too milky.
Yeah, I never really even thought I'd heard about shochu and milk as a thing, but I'd never bothered to try it. But then Maurice posted about it on Twitter the other day about awamori and milk. Or maybe it was in the Discord. Might have been in the Japan Drinks Discord. So I decided to try it yesterday, but I did it with milk and soda and harusame. And it wasn't bad.
Milk and bubbly milk.
Yeah, bubbly milk. Yeah. Because I like awamori soda, so I figured why not try it with a little bit of milk in there too. Not bad.
I've had a
I don't know
couple-
that I drink it again.
I've had a couple milk shochus. It depends on there's a lot of variations of type of milk. It's like Japanese milk is like full fat milk,
Hmm.
so you don't get.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely not skim milk.
Yeah.
There is milk shochu as well, so that's a different thing, right? Actually made with milk, and I like that too. Maybe I'll try that with milk. Milk shochu.
Green tea shochu with green tea works. So
Sure. Milk shochu with milk might work as well. And I cooked with milk yesterday, as I mentioned at the top of the show.
you're French.
Cooked a French roast pork, Christopher, that came out quite nice. But it actually ends up with a milk gravy at the end because you essentially braise the pork in milk instead of like vegetable broth or consomme or anything like that. So it was good. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks, guys. 100 episodes in the can.
Congratulations.
Oh my lord, the century.
Yeah, we made it.
What's
Can we retire now?
What's your next milestone?
101.
How long
101?
how long is this going to go? Well, but
Well, you know, it's funny because it's been fun, and obviously I feel like a lot more goes into the podcast, right, as far as scripting and editing and that sort of thing. But this is always just a fun chance to share what's on our mind and, you know, enjoy it, have a chat, yeah, and people can listen if they want. So, yeah. I'm not usually hosting. I'm not good at the hosting part. Christopher's very good at the hosting part. So I just have these awkward pauses.
practicing.
Yeah.
I like it better when other people drive. You know that.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Like
drive. I'd
being
rather you
driven.
host.
So I can take a nap.
Yeah, I like driving, but different story, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, I guess thank you both for joining. Christopher from his closet in DC, and Maya from her. Maya, before we sign off, tell us about your
T-shirt.
Well, my T-shirt. If you, I don't know if you can tell. These
I know
are.
you were going for the T-shirt, Steven. Sorry, I had to throw it in there. I
Can you
wanted to
tell
know
that this is the Maruju, the Shimazu Maruju?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if anyone out in the internet world likes Japanese history, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but this T-shirt is a map, and it has to do with the Shimazu and Sekigahara, the Battle of 1600. So why would I be wearing this T-shirt?
Because it's warm.
It's not. It's a T-shirt. It's not that one.
No, I mean it's warm in Kagoshima.
Yeah. So if everyone in the comments wants to guess what this was T-shirt about, feel free. And this is a sweet potato tram. Hold on, let me take my phone off.
Yeah, I see Saigo Takamori there.
There's Saigo.
Saigo and his dog.
Walking his dog. Some mikans.
Satsuma mikan. Yeah.
A corn or a goya or something.
That's
a
goya.
lotus root tram.
Yeah.
This is our
tram.
Ferris wheel that we have.
Oh right. Some carrots.
An onigiri.
Onigiri.
Sakuraji. Nice.
So this is one of my many Kagoshima teniguis that I hang on my wall as a decoration.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's a good way to decorate.
Yeah, that's fun.
I like it.
The next time I'm on the show, I change it out every time I'm on the show so people don't get bored of my teniguri. Not that anyone's paying attention to them.
Bored with you, Maya. That's cool.
So,
Yeah. Oh, we had a suggestion of a Shochu'sday as a way of incorporating milk. So I kind of like that idea, right?
Good work.
Yep.
I like coffee and awamori, so maybe a little bit of coffee with milk and shochu could be nice. I like it.
Milk cocktails.
Thank you, Richard, for that suggestion. Yeah, we gotta work on some of these things. Christopher, I know that we were wrapping up, but I've changed my mind. Any interesting cocktail arrangements that you've come across in the States with shochu while you've been visiting?
I mean, I did go to Death & Co. in Manhattan and had all two of the very obviously shochu related cocktails that they had on the menu. One is called Raijin, using an atmospheric distilled rice shochu, Motoko from Furusawa, and then the other one was Obsidian Sun, which originally was colorful from Shoro Distillery, but they have since switched to Mahoko from again from Furusawa because it's available, and they were great. They were like, damn, I can taste the shochu. I can taste the koji. Gives it an oomph. It gives it a boost.
Nice.
And they're really complex. They're layered. They're full. They're nourishing. They're like honestly, they're fun to drink cocktails. And while that's not happening, or I haven't run into it as much in DC since I've gotten back down here, I can see the wheels turning. I've been talking to a number of bartenders over the last couple of nights, and I'll be out later tonight to pick people's brains. And they have great ideas. They have great instincts, and they're they take kana, for instance, or they take again mahoko, and they're just like and I steer them toward. I'm like, I think we need a Thanksgiving movement here with this sweet potato shochu, and you know, just think pumpkin, think apples. Let's do something crazy, and like,
Oh,
and then there were discussions of like Indian influences and lassi and yogurt, and I was like, oh yes, 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 yes. Go,
Oh, wow.
do it, go forth,
Yeah.
create, do something crazy, and call me
Yeah,
back.
that sounds really fun,
So
actually.
I think there's a lot of people that are starting to think about these things, and people way more talented than myself, especially in terms of mixing flavors and aromas. And I think we're on the cusp of a little bit of a battle here in terms of which city could do it best. I'm off to Chicago next, so it'll be interesting to see what I encounter
ooh.
there, because we know that like at Bar Kumiko, for instance, they're doing crazy things, and I'm sure there's other places as well.
Sure, sure. That's interesting, and it struck me actually, if folks are interested in the potential for shochu and cocktails, to go back and listen to our previous episode of Japan Distilled, where Joshi Natone, who worked at Angel Share at Sober Company in Shanghai and then SG Club in Tokyo, talks about his philosophy for using shochu in cocktails, and also his service styles, how he drinks it, and that sort of thing. It's really, really fun, meandering episode about all things Japan Distilled. So have a listen when you have a chance. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you. Congratulations.
episode 100. Thank you.
Yay.
Round of applause for all of us. And yeah, to all of you out there in Shochu'sday land around the world, wish you a hearty and heartfelt kanpai.
Goodbye.
Kanpai.
Bye.
With your cat. Your cat.